I have set up a signal to go out bus 1, and what I'd like to do is I'd like to pick up bus 1 on this reverb. That way I can put a reverb behind the vocal. Um, as you can see, when you added this bus, a aux send fader has come up here. And what I like to do is I like to set the send level at unity gain, and you can alt click the fader and it'll automatically go up to unity gain or 0. And what that's going to do is that sets the level of vocal that goes to this reverb. And now automatically the signal isn't picked up on the reverb aux track because you've got to actually assign the input of this reverb track. Now the input of the reverb is actually going to be bus 1 because we're sending the signal out, a signal from the vocal track out bus 1. So to set the input of the reverb, we're going to come up here to the input-output assignment, and I'm going to click on where it says no input, and I'm going to give it an input by going to bus 1. And as you can see right down here, we've got a signal on our reverb. I'm going to go ahead and disarm that track real quick, and I'm going to show you how I like to add reverbs. Now, one thing that you're going to notice is I'm going to come up here to my plugin input, and I'm going to, or effect input, and I'm going to come down here to reverb and add a TrueVerb stereo. I'm going to add a stereo reverb. Now notice right now that the verb is a mono aux track. It's going to convert it to stereo because I actually like using stereo reverbs. It's just a method that I like to use. I could go into depth about it, but I do like to use a stereo reverb. Sometimes I even like to put a delay, a slight delay, in front of my reverb. So I'll go ahead and throw a stereo. Oops, I can't do that right now. Let me just re-add this reverb here. Okay, I put a stereo delay up here as well as a reverb, and it kind of thickens things up. So there's a free tip for you. You have to play with it and figure out what settings work best for you. So anyways, what we've done is we've essentially set up your session. Your vocalist is ready to sing. Of course, you'd need to import a track or have some kind of music bed or something like that, unless you're singing a cappella. One more thing, I'll just kind of show you. Here's an advanced piece. Now, if this is it and you just want to record, you're ready to go. You arm this track, and you can Control equal to get back to your edit window, and you can arm and start recording, and you're good to go. As you can see, you're recording. If I was back there at the other microphone, you'd see transients coming up here in the waveform, and this meter would be jumping, and then you would hear a reverb. If I just want to show you one more thing here. You're probably asking why we added this compressor track. Say you want to compress the track just to add a little bit of warmth. Now I don't recommend that you compress very much, and this is not an old school way of compressing. Some people might say this is redundant, but it does add a little bit of warmth. So say I want to add a compressor to a vocalist, and I actually want to commit that compression to track. If I want that warmth to be on the recording to where that will be the basis of which I work with in the mix down, where I can't change that compression. All I can do is add compression to it. So let's come up here to our insert, and I'm going to add a dynamic effect, which is what a compressor is. It's a dynamic effect. I'm going to add comp. It's by Waves. It's a really good compressor. I've just got the trial right now. But maybe one day I'll have the full version. Of course, you'd set your input and output. You'd tune this to your singer, and I would back this down to either 2-to-1 or 3-to-1 and keep it real light. In the mix down, I'd probably step up to 4-to-1, but that's all post processing. This is all pre, so this is going to be committed to track. I'm going to go with a 3-to-1 ratio, and right now I would probably do a sound check. But first, before I can sound check, is I've actually got to change my routing up a little bit, because right now this compressor is not in the signal chain. What I need to do is I need to set the input on the compressor auxiliary track. The input in this case, since I'm going to be committing it to track, will be interface 1, which is your microphone. And rather than going out to stereo 1 and 2, I need to send this to track because it won't record right now. All I can do is hear or monitor the signal coming in to interface 1. It won't go to track. Now to send it to track, I want to send it to track 1, which is our vocal track. I'm going to send it through bus 2. So now that I'm sending my microphone signal out bus 2, it's a compressed signal. I need to pick it up on track 1, which is our vocal track. So let's go to the input of our vocal track, and we're going to change that to bus 2. So now the input of track 1 is bus 2, and the input of bus 2 is actually interface 1. So as you can see, it's kind of daisy chained around. Your microphone's coming into aux, your compression track is going out bus 2, and it's coming out over here to the input of track 1. And if you arm that track, you have a signal. Now you're ready to record, and now I would sound check, and I would set my input and output, and maybe adjust maybe if I want to throw a de-esser or something like that on. I don't usually de-ess to track. That's something I can normally do later on, because de-essers tend to change the timbre and tone of a voice or an instrument. So be careful what you commit to track. And just remember that you can always, if you need to gate or compress or add a reverb or any kind of effect like that, you can do that post-processing during the mix down. It gives you much more versatility and allows you to make changes later on, and you're not so committed. And you won't find yourself back in the studio re-recording something because you didn't like the effect that you had on it to begin with. I hope this helped you guys out. Send me emails, let me know how this has affected you, and be looking out for new videos, because I'm going to be posting some more advanced Pro Tools tutorials, maybe go into more routing depth, maybe go into mix down a little bit as well. And maybe I think I'm going to also put out a video on basic tracking and how to set your levels, and a little more on gain staging. Send me an email, vagabond@hitwarehouse.com. Or remember and check out my MySpace, myspace.com/vagabondblues, VAGABONDBLUEZ. Hope this helped y'all. Take care.